During World War II, these concrete pens housed one of the most deadly military machines ever created, the Unterseeboot, the German U-boat. From here, U-boats sailed to every corner of the world, wreaking havoc and destruction. Their prime objective, sinking merchant shipping in the Atlantic. U-boats were active from the first day of the war to the last. They posed the greatest threat of all to Allied victory in World War II. This is the man who created and directed Germany's U-boat fleet in World War II. Admiral Karl Dönitz believed that Britain could be defeated by severing those lines of communication. His U-boats would do that by sinking the vessels that brought the vital supplies on which Britain, an island nation, depended for her survival. This was a war about tonnage. The central control room of a Type 7C U-boat, the most prolific of all U-boats. 650 were built. This is the only fully equipped example remaining today. Inside this deadly fighting machine, 44 crew members lived alongside their weapons of war for days on end in cramped and often squalid conditions. 40,000 men went to war in these machines in World War II. 30,000 were to die in their iron coffins. They suffered the highest mortality rate of any fighting unit in the history of war. British Prime Minister Winston Churchill later wrote, "The threat the U-boats posed in the Atlantic was the only thing that ever really frightened me during the war. On their defeat hung the outcome of World War II."
The Battle of the Atlantic was one of the most vital campaigns of the war. In 1939, the German Navy was unwilling to challenge the numerically superior British Navy in direct fleet engagement. So at the outbreak of war, Germany embarked instead on attacks on merchant shipping. Britain's ability to wage war against Germany was dependent on a constant supply of food and materials, which could only come by sea. On the German side, the battle involved surface raiders and long-range bombers, as well as the U-boats with which it is now chiefly associated.